Welcome back to Up and Adam. I'm Jack Tomzak. That is Andrew Lee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Be sure to follow the station at TC News Talk and like the Twin Cities News Talk page on Facebook, because that's where I put my little videos that are hilarious. Today's live feed is provided by Central Media Services. You should broadcast your event live. Interact with people across the world live. Live streaming is great for product and services promotions, live announcements, online classes, church services, and wildlife broadcasting. Do it yourself. Don't do it yourself, moron. You can handle it anyway.
You're just going to mess it up.
Let the experts at Central Media Services handle it for you. Check them out at centralmediaservices.com/Up and Adam. And you can watch me and Andrew and Ben Johnson from the Student Pages, who's joining us now.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Fantastic.
I'm doing. It's like casual Friday in here. This is the least dressed up I've ever seen you, Jack. What's going on?
It's warm out.
I know it's lovely out.
I had a great system where I'd wear my nondescript long sleeve waffle shirts. Just a different one every day. No thought, no effort. But now it's warm. Now I was like, what T-shirt to wear today?
Yeah, pretty much.
I had a T-shirt on.
And I've run out of ideas of like stupid things to put on my face for the videos. So
I had a T-shirt on today that I had to take off because I don't agree with the organization that provided. No, it's from the Rochester Tea Party, which I like, but it's a Tea Party Patriots T-shirt.
right.
And I have serious problems with their national leadership, so I couldn't wear that shirt today. So I had to wear another free shirt that I got. Life's hard now.
Jeez.
You
gotta
knew you were
find
going to be on video, so you
Yeah.
didn't want it to seem like you were. We have an endorsement opportunity here. We could be like NASCAR talk show hosts.
Yeah,
with
right.
like logos all over the place.
And now I'm supporting a submarine. You better too, because it's a submarine. Before we get to your news, Ben Johnson, let's continue with our mandatory list. You might have a thought or two on this. 5 ways our generation, which generation? I don't know, has ruined being offended.
Yeah, we were talking about how everybody just gets all sensory as soon as something pops up that they may not like. They just want it shut down. They don't want to engage with it. And we were using an example from the University of Michigan where they had scheduled a screening of American Sniper. One offended student started a petition to cancel it. Got enough signatures that the college acquiesced and replaced the movie with a screening of Paddington. And that was
Children's movie.
a children's movie, right. Now, part of a college education should be to learn how to think fast and hard enough to be able to read a book or see a movie without being helplessly forced to mold your entire life around any philosophy that it passively mentioned, which is why, after reading Mein Kampf and the Communist Manifesto, I'm not a neo-Nazi communist Muslim convert.
I'm a Nazi.
No, I'm not.
I'm a Nazi.
That's not true.
Yeah, well, sounds like you are.
I'm a Nazi.
Stop that. It's taken completely out of context. It seems like we do this a lot these days. Remember the hashtag cancel Colbert? Because he'd done something that offended people. There were people that wanted Trevor Noah to be fired from the Daily Show before he'd even started it because of some offensive jokes he'd made about 4 years ago. The guy from Duck Dynasty says something we disagree with, and everybody wants to salt the earth around him and get that show canceled. We've dealt with it in talk radio a number of times. Somebody says something offensive, and suddenly you have to lose your job, and you can never work again. Cultural criticism of popular art should be about making it more inclusive, not driving the stuff we don't like out. When we complain about too many white male action heroes, for example, it's because you want more female or minority action heroes, not because you want to break Channing Tatum's kneecaps. You want every little kid to have a movie hero that they can look up to because that's awesome and everybody deserves it. Instead of canceling the screening, maybe watch the movie and write an article for your student paper about your disagreements with it or the issues that you may have with it. Just try to be smarter and more true than the people out there that you disagree with.
Yep. Experience, disagree, debate. What's wrong with that?
Being offended or getting people offended has turned out to be pretty lucrative, and Ben Johnson can speak to this. We are puppets for clickbait.
Yeah, it was something we were talking about, during the break. I'm kind of conflicted by it because I roll my eyes all the time. You know, if you look at our comment sections or some of the emails I get, I mean, people are just waiting to get outraged. But on the flip side, being in the business we're in, we profit from outrage.
You need traffic.
I mean, I looked we sit down and we look at the articles that get the most page views. I'm sure you guys look at the topics that people like to tune into.
I've come up with a system for the videos that I'm making. I know what drives people there.
Yeah, I saw your last video. It was the best one yet.
Thank you.
Maybe I ought to try hitting the outrage button though.
No, I think
maybe that'll work
I
better.
think we know what works. But yeah, outrage.
Outrage
Sells
works.
tickets.
I looked at, even like since I started at City Pages, I looked at like the top 50 articles, page view wise.
Yeah.
And I tried to figure out, I'm always trying to get better and figure out what people want to read about, what people click on. I went down the list and it was outrage, 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 outrage.
Right.
I mean, almost every single one was something that people just got super mad about it, and they share it. They say, I'm mad about this. Everybody else should see this too.
Everybody read this thing that made me angry.
Yeah.
Can you write a story on how Andrew Lee with Up and Adam on Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130, 6 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, read Mein Kampf? Get people excited. Let's work together let's get some faux outrage to help everybody.
Right,
We get more
exactly.
listeners, you get more readers.
You don't have to explain the context.
Yeah. Oh,
You don't have to, just
not about that context. Come
he,
on.
He read it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And he's quoted on the air saying,
just
I'm a
to
Nazi.
see if people would get angry
Yeah,
about reading something.
You put Nazi in the headline, that's probably good for a couple
Probably
of clicks.
enough right there. Yeah. I'll email you the soundbite. We'll make it easy.
Oh,
People
nice.
are
Yeah,
gonna
serve it.
know.
It's even better for the media if you can serve it up to us on a platter.
Right.
We're lazy.
A while back, a woman named Justine Sacco, nobody's ever heard of her before, tweeted the joke.
I'm pretty close to being offended by that last name, though.
Tweeted a joke, put on Twitter, going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white.
Yeah, that's the one who, by the time she landed, the
Yes.
world had turned against
So
her.
she gets on the plane, tweets this horrible, stupid joke, turns her phone off for the 11-hour flight, and over the course of that 11 hours, the internet dug up her personal information, figured out what flight she was on, notified her employers that she was a racist, and then someone drove to the Cape Town airport to tweet photos of her as she arrived. Could you imagine?
It just shows what a well-oiled machine the internet outrage
yeah.
industry is?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
In all of these pictures, she's staring at her phone with a look of shock and horror as she learns that her professional life is over. The weird thing about this is it had nothing to do with how offensive the joke was. It had everything to do with the fact that it was a slow news day. Her tweet didn't take off because of natural viralness, but because Gawker and Business Insider ran a bunch of clickbaity articles on a day right after the story about Duck Dynasty's Phil Robertson and his homophobic statements, or what his statements that were perceived to be homophobic. They had just died down, right? It was just on the tail end of that. So everybody's looking for, all right, what's next?
People are becoming rational again.
Like a
Find
bunch
something.
of junkies seeking a new fix. Everybody jumped on the self-righteous bandwagon. I am beyond horrified, tweeted one guy. In light of the offensive tweet, I'm donating to this charity today, said another one, using the incident to remind all their followers what a great person they are. Being offended is clickbait now. It's good marketing. It sells. So, of course, people are going to try and manufacture it because that's how it works. Clickbait sites are going to give every offensive thought any random person has as much exposure as possible. For the same reason, filmmakers keep cramming love triangles into movies, and comedians keep telling edgy, offensive jokes because we all want attention and we all want to feel important, and sometimes it's just a slow news day.
Yeah. Do you think that this is a recent phenomenon, or do you think that humans have always
Yellow
been?
journalism has always been.
Well, I think there's always been the instinct to it, but it's just so much more easier and accessible now, and there's so much exponentially more content out there now than there ever has been, and everybody wants as many clicks as possible. So yeah, there's going to be we've got 8 million people on Twitter now to farm content out of. You know, random people getting on flights telling bad jokes is now newsworthy. You know, so yeah, the human nature has always been there, but the accessibility to find things to be outraged about has increased exponentially.
It's just easier now.
Yes.
And it's easier to hit the easiest nerve to inflame. It's outrage.
Well, you've seen it, and we've all seen it. We've made jokes about it now. I mean, CNN and Fox News and the cable news networks are now filling time by just trolling Twitter. And they're treating Twitter as if it's news now. It's like, oh, here's how people are reacting to this story. Let's spend 5 minutes reading tweets from random people.
You act like City Pages hasn't run about 5 dozen top tweets.
Really kills my next segment, too.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a good portion of my day trolling Twitter for whatever.
But it works.
Yeah.
You do that.
Still
You
employed.
do that because people are clicking on those articles.
Yeah. Well, that's a good transition into one of my first stories. One of the biggest stories I had this week and even this month was about a neighborhood in Blaine that banded together to try to keep Habitat for Humanity out of its neighborhood.
And when we come back, we'll get into that story and more with Ben Johnson. The reason people get offended all the time and hate the City Pages. I don't.
All you need to know is when Rush Limbaugh talks, Minnesota listens. Executing a